Okay, welcome everyone. Um, if you're looking at this, it's either you got a link towards the this particular podcast, but we are actually starting a series of a 12-part series of fatherhood, where we'll be going over different areas of just that role that most of us play as fathers and as dads. Um, Over the next 12 months, this is our first one where we'll be talking about just becoming a father, becoming a dad, and just navigating those type of transitions to fatherhood. Over the next 12 series, we'll have the Daddy's Boot Camp. We'll have the Balancing Act, where you're trying to manage the whole work and family life. We're going to also have the difference between raising boys and raising girls. For those of you that have boys, for those of you that have girls, we want to hear your perspective on that, and your different viewpoints. We want to hear the importance of the role that you play, or the importance of your relationship, and how you bond with your children. We'll move over to disciplines and boundaries. We'll move over also to our better halves, of course. We're going to be talking about supporting our spouses and supporting the moms in the parenting aspects, whether you're partnering or you're in the same household parenting. We want to talk about those two different aspects of it also. We also want to talk about the aspects of legacy building when you're creating lasting impacts for generations to come, and family members. We also want to talk about, hey, Will, how are you, bud?
Not bad. Thanks for having me.
Pretty great. We're I'm just going through the series that we're going to be talking about, as far as what our um, I guess our mission statement is going to be for the next 12 months. Of course, I'm telling them that this is going to be a 12-part series. Is we're going to try and see if we can push out one every month. Not to put any type of like expectations or like time frame on it, but one every month I think is doable. We can definitely do that. Um, but I'm going to where what we're going to be talking about, and I went through that today. Our first particular series is just going to be talking about that new role that we took on and how we became fathers, and what was the expectation, so on and so forth. Next month we're going to be preparing for a daddy boot camp, so to speak, where we're going to be talking about when you did become a father, what type of like new survival strategies you came up with, like because at any given point we did need to have this type of new game plan, making that transition from being a father and then being a single person, then becoming a father. Our third series is going to be talking about the balancing act, how we are able to manage the work and the home and the social life type situation. That's also something that I feel like everyone should give their aspects or their perception on, because it's a juggling act, if to say the least. Our fourth topic or fourth series is going to be talking about the difference between raising boys and girls, and I know some of us have both. Some of us only have one one sex, or just geared towards one genre of the sexes, and we want to hear that too. We want to hear the difference in how you manage those two, how you treat them differently, if you do treat them differently. The importance of your play, or importance of your role, will be our fifth series, where we're talking about different activities that you, as the father, as the dad, that you bring into the family aspects, how you create that bond. Our six is going to be talking about disciplines and boundaries, set across the board, uh, setting the rules, and trying not to get into the good guy, bad guy type situation. But we're gonna see if we can definitely talk about that in our sixth series. Our seventh one is dedicated towards our spouses and and the moms of the children. So we want to talk about how whether you're doing the partnering um position or the partnering role, or you're doing the parenting role where both of you are in the same household and you both have to contribute and so on and so forth. Either which way, I think you still both have to contribute. Um, our eighth, right? Our eighth, I think, is going to be talking about the legacy that we're trying to build. As a father, I feel like the things that you are teaching and employing into your children is something of of a lasting um, effect, so to speak. It's not something that we're doing this for fun and we're just going to keep on moving on. I think something like this usually creates this lasting impact on not just your kids, but I'm sure or hope that what you're teaching and instilling in your kids right now is something that that can be passed on to their kids and the kids after that, generations to come. We're also going to be focusing on fatherhood and identity, as far as like who are you. When you do play this role as a father, you're not just playing this role as a father to your kids, but then you now enter into this genre where you're now being affected by your kids' friends and other parents around the community. You enter this into this old dynamics of parenthood. Um, we want to tackle also some tough conversations. We want to talk about dad guilt and dad self care. We want to talk about just overall evolving role of a father, because when you became a father, that role that you are playing is quite different from the role that you play now. So it's definitely a relationship or a role that has this dynamic about it, that it's not static. It keeps on moving and evolving. So we definitely want to talk about that. But we're going to be focusing today on just the transition into fatherhood, like you becoming this father, and some of us as remove that element, right? Like I don't want to remember that. Like some of us as took that away, but I implore you to pull that up, pull up those memories that you once shared when you just became a father, and or you were expecting to become a father, and like I just really want you to go back to those times and see exactly how we want to get your point of view on it, and share as much as you can, because this particular series of fatherhood is definitely going to be showcased, and I feel like you're gonna say your piece about fatherhood. All right, you're gonna say your piece about how your kids and how your spouse is affecting you, and I just want to keep in mind that at some point or another they may see this, right? And they may want to hear what you have to say about this role that you're engaging in. So and I've sent out this link to numerous amount of people, just so we can get a full understanding on a full scope, because everyone has different um situations and different dynamics of their family structure and so on and so forth. So I really wanted to get a good take on just the role of fathers. So yeah, we'll talk about that more, as to see why the panel right now is just two people, but we're gonna we're gonna dive into that. But yeah, we're gonna focus on just the life changing experience, and there's a couple of questions that we have already just set up. I know I sent you guys out some like pre-questions just to show you, or basically just tap your brain into how difficult these questions are, but they're really not difficult. It's more so your recall and how things are going, and where you've been or where you've traveled. It's not anything that you know I'm looking for rocket science answers here now. It's things that I feel like it affects us all at one way or the other, and we're gonna definitely um, utilize the experiences that we have, and we'll move forward with that. But for now, we're about 10 minutes into our series, and I just want to right now let me see if there's anybody else in here in the waiting room or anything. No. Okay. So I'm just want to make sure, or just get an introduction on as to who we are. My name is Mike Freeman. I basically um, host a lot of these podcasts for just, and it's not like I'm nosy. I don't want I don't want you to think I'm nosy. Um, I am I am trying to procure a platform at which, if my children's children wanted to know who grandpa was or who great grandpa was, they'll have a place to go to and say, okay, I can now go back and see where he was thinking and what he was thinking, and I can basically form that type of relationship. Technology today has given us a very broad scope of how we can use it, and this is one of the ways that I feel that I know I'm not going to be living forever, but we can keep this essence, we can keep this knowledge base carried down from generation to generation. So I do host a lot of these podcasts with materials and with insights as to how everyday life affects us, both male and female. And I've yet to tap into the kids yet, the next generation that's coming, but that's coming up in a short period of time. I feel like that's one of the things that we may need to get the contents or get the uh, the permission of like the parents for them to actually engage in. But I am a father of three. Um, all of my children at this current moment is under the age of 13. I have one boy, which is the oldest, and two girls. Their names are Mason, Mia, and Melanie. And my dynamics for fatherhood is I am a father and dad to my three kids, husband to my wife, and we both are all live in the same household. Um, I have Will on the line also with us, Will Diaz, which I have to introduce this guy. This guy is, I would say, my closest and most best friend, I should say. If anyone if anyone would ask me um, who you would have in your corner, right? Um, and I don't have many. I and it's not a good thing to say that, but um, the people that I really would like to have in my corner, or I would stand with at any given moment, Will is one of them. All right, I know I really want to introduce you guys to him. So, and he will give us a brief synopsis of the same type of introduction that I just presented. But um, Will has been my best friend since seventh, eighth grade.
I would say eighth grade. Yeah.
Yeah, I transitioned into the public school system um, in seventh grade, and in eighth grade I met Will, and it's been nothing but Will's Will's platform introduced me into an area where I didn't understand what I wasn't accustomed to what life was at the given moment. And Will was the type of Will and his family was that introduction into what can be, and what is the proper way, and what is the fun way. Like, these are the things that, like, if you went to my house at that given time, it's upside down in turmoil, right? If I went to Will's house was structured. Like everything had a place. Like if you're gonna have Legos have its own areas. If you're gonna have action figures, they have its areas. If you're gonna have video games, they have his. So when I walked into Will's life, I was more pulling than giving. You know, I was pulling everything in from the way Will lived. Will um was very, very intelligent. Like so a lot of his peers looked up to him, and yes, I looked up to him too, as far as like the games that we played, and just the philosophy behind just the conversations that we're having. Like it was a proper place for me to be and grow. And it wasn't just the individual himself, but it was also his surroundings, his family, his brothers, his mom, his dad. Everything just made sense, you know. And I have to. I was just talking to Will. I was just talking to Poppy the other day too. I was just telling him that
Yeah.
like a lot of the things that I witness in that given time frame is a lot of the is it's a lot of how I structured my life, right? Like Poppy used to drive with one hand like this. Like
Hmm.
I drive like one hand like that, like that. It's the simple things too, right? But when I'm talking about showing up, yo, this Poppy showed me how to show up. Like his boys needed him, boom, Poppy's there, you know. So and consistent and with authority, you know, the way he speaks and the way he treats mommy. Like that was one of the things that I always took from, like, I want to be just like that, you know. I want to be I want to be the one that's able to express myself in a loving way in front of my kids. Like, you know, like, yeah, you see that woman? I do love her. I do love that woman. So that type of stuff was like it was very like seed planting for me. So as I grew up and I started to have I have my own wife, or I have my own girlfriend, I have my own children, so such like that. I started to like I started to gear that towards what I saw and what I learned and what I took from the different aspects of your life. And I didn't even get your permission for that. I'm sorry. But
No, that's fine. It's first. Is my audio coming through okay?
oh, perfect, crystal clear. Yeah.
It's worthwhile mentioning for anyone who's watching who doesn't, uh, because I'm from a Hispanic family. My father is Papi, my mother is Mommy, and
Hmm.
through her entire life, she never switches to
Right.
another name. So for anyone who's watching, Papi is my dad, Mommy is my
Right.
mother,
Right.
and my children call my dad Papi still. They don't call him Grandpa
Uh,
or anything like that. Um, it's really endearing.
yeah.
It's yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like we've come a long way to where we're in the roles ourselves, right? And uh, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this, or put it at, I don't want you to take it any which way either, but I'm still trying to catch up, you know? Like I see the way Poppy lived his life, I see the way my parents lived their lives, right? And now that you're in that role, now that I'm in that role, I'm still trying to catch up. Like I don't think I'll ever become my father, or I'll ever become Poppy. You know, I don't think I'll ever have the understanding and loving nature of my mother, or our mommy. Like I don't, but I know that's the goal. Like they've set a platform, or a standard for me. Like if you can't get anywhere else, at least get here. You know, so um yeah, I'm pretty like grateful and blessed that I not only have you in my life to call you a brother, but also to experience and navigate this thing that we call life and the roles that we play. But I truly, 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 truly appreciate you. But let me shut up. Go ahead and introduce yourself for me, please.
I feel like you did that already. No, and I'm Will Diaz, and a father of two. Um, Father first and husband second. Married my high school sweetheart.
Yes, you did.
Um, and yeah, my eldest is a 13-year-old girl, and my youngest is a 9-year-old boy. He reminds me he will be 10 in 4 months, and he's looking forward to it.
Oh man, the double digits. Absolutely. I hope you're doing something crazy for him. Something good. That's what I mean by that.
Um, we leave it up to him, and he usually chooses. He's a big fan of like trampoline parks,
Oh,
and golf.
ooh.
He likes top golf also.
But what I wanted to do also was like let's there's a series of questions. We have some general questions. We got some areas where we're going to be talking about the preparations and expectations you did as a new father, any type of relationship changes, parenting styles, and we're going to end it off with some open-ended questions on self-care and support. But we'll get there. It's not going to be that long. We have I don't even know how long we've been talking so far, but 20 minutes so far. So yeah, the general questions, and it's going to be 3 questions. You can pick any one you want, and then just go ahead and dive into it. The first question is, what was the most surprising thing about becoming a father? Second question is, how did your life change after becoming a father or having a kid? And the third question is, what's one thing you wish you knew before becoming a dad? And if you want me to repeat any one of those questions, just let me know. I'm going to also put them in the chat so you can keep track of which one you picked.
Okay.
But yeah, please help dive in on that one.
Yeah, definitely put it in the chat because I've got the ones you sent ahead of time and they don't exactly line up.
No,
Just helps me
those.
to remind.
Yeah, so we're gonna go over them though. We're gonna go over the ones that we went into the preparations that I sent you over, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's gonna fall into place somewhere.
Sounds good. I should say upfront, I should have said at the beginning of the conversation, my hard stop is at 5. One of the things about being trying to run a successful household are I'm not gonna say rigid routine, but routines are
Mm,
important. Not
yeah,
everyone likes being locked in to a routine, but um that's how I function. And being able to tell everyone Sunday dinner is at I start cooking at 5, and at 5:30 we sit down, we do a nice readout of the week. The kids don't love it. They don't love hearing a list of their responsibilities. I just
nobody
want to
does.
go, yeah, I want to go play Roblox or some such. But it's important. It's important. This is the balance of that routine and agency. Yes, it's a nice Sunday afternoon, so go ahead and play your games, but stuff has to get done. But
Did you
I
did you
found
did you have a routine? Did you have a routine when you were growing up? Was everything like on a schedule? Like you knew what time Poppy and Mommy was gonna get home. You knew what time dinner was gonna be, or was dinner always dinner? Was dinner a set time, or was it always fluctuating at a different time?
I,
Um,
because
was
we didn't do a lot of stuff in the evenings. There wasn't a like today like the like say Aiden goes to Taekwondo and
mhm.
he goes twice a week, so
Mhm.
that causes our schedule to fluctuate. But because growing up we didn't do anything like that, yeah, I would say it was fairly scheduled. It made sense. Roll out of the car into the kitchen, get
Right.
cooking, and it made sense. We're bed by whatever bedtime. It feels like a lifetime ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, I get that too, but I mean, as far as a relationship to now, do you find yourself doing the same things that your parents did?
Yeah, I lost my connection. But to answer your question, I think I tried to maintain a schedule. I think it's very much influence from them, but
Okay.
I do sometimes find it difficult to remember from back then exactly what is learned and what was like just my natural way of doing things. And sometimes they blend together over time.
Right, right. And that's one of the things too that I find myself like I sometimes I'm thinking, oh, you're so rigid. Yeah, but your parents was the same way. And there was there was some things like I can get away with things from my dad, but I can't get away with the same things from my mom. right? So and I feel like some of those things have an impact on how I'm raising my children right now. Because there's some things they know not to come to me for. They'll go straight to mommy for it and talk to mommy about it versus,
Yeah.
oh, I can't bring it to dad because I know how dad's going to react or dad's going to tell me whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's here or there. Um, Out of those three questions, I think I'm going to answer number two, which says, how did my life change to have
Mhm.
after having a kid, right? Um, and you know the lifestyle that I lived prior to, bearing children into this world, and it was a switch for me. I I knew that I had to stop it or just limit myself to it because it wasn't something that could have been continuous, especially with the motorcycles and just putting my life out there at risk. I didn't any given point it could have been a horror story. And what now am I doing with this horror story when it comes around to you having a child in this world, and you got to take care of the child. So now I started transitioning from that hectic, dangerous lifestyle into something a little bit more stable and something that I can, at least put food on the table for him and have a continuous backing. I before my firstborn, I wasn't thinking about life insurance. I wasn't thinking about, safeguarding the future for putting something away. I really wasn't thinking about any of that. But that definitely changed the way I had a different perception of what life was, especially me being responsible not only for, you know, um, my my kids, but now, I have a spouse that I have to be accountable for too. So that in itself, I would say those are where, out of the three questions, this one has an impact on me. What about you?
Um, I would think the biggest change would be being more mindful about being fiscally responsible. My
Mm,
20s were spent throwing money away and making like all of the worst decisions that someone could make. That's what your 20s are for making mistakes as an adult and figuring it out, and just hope that you are in a position where you can get out of it. Um,
okay.
the story I share on this one is, and this is something, don't ever, never do this. Don't ever do this. Um, but having one of those pre-tax accounts, right? Out of your paycheck, you put it
Okay.
3%, 5%, like a 401k, IRA, what that sort of thing. And while putting money there for my future, at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I was spending like credit card money is free. Like I didn't understand that, that's not free money, right? You owe that to someone, to the bank that issued you the card. And but I spent like that wasn't the case. So this is what you don't do. First, don't do the credit card thing. But I mean, get a credit card. You should work on your credit,
Right.
but treat it responsibly. What I did is I took all the money, I emptied the IRA to pay off the credit card. Now, this is a mistake because of financial penalty you pull in on doing that, and plus the massive tax implication at the end of the year.
Right.
Um, so while paying back all the money I owed to the IRS, I continued building on that credit card again. I emptied it and then built it up again. So my 20s were full of financial mistakes. And one of the biggest things about being a dad is being focused on that future, because I'm eternally grateful for everything my parents did for me and my
Right.
siblings, right? But the point of being a parent is, well, there's multiple points, I guess, but one of the biggest ones is you want your kids to have a better life than you had.
Right.
You,
That's
you
true.
have a right, you have a good one, do better ones. Give them a better one.
Right.
Give them more, whatever it may be. I would love to be able to fund their college experience. I want them to go to college, get out of school, and not
Hmm.
owe a dime.
Right.
Because during those 20s, I was also paying my student loan back,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Um, so I want them to be, if you spend too much time on the socials, you're inevitably run across people, young people, who have made truly terrible mistakes with their money, and they will have a very hard time getting out of it.
Right.
So
Right.
yes, fiscal responsibility is the one. I've generally been a responsible person my entire life, but with money, I was always very bad. Not anymore. Now my 40s are much better about that. Mostly because of them. If it was just me, maybe not so much, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We all. I think we. That's one of the things that, as father, we always calculate. Like we always put it up against this big giant of a boulder, so to speak.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, if I was single, I would be spending right now. But listen, as I said, those roles have been have transitioned and moved into something else, right? So this is where we're at. Um, our next set of questions is the preparations and expectations. Um, you speak about difference between your 20s and now. Um, before that, how did you prepare for fatherhood, and 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 was there a preparation? That's not the question. The question is,
Yeah.
how did you prepare for fatherhood? um but I just put that in there. Was there a preparation? Because I gotta share with you that one. And did your expectations match reality, and what surprised you most about that? And what resources or advice helped you prepare better, or made you feel more prepared? um
There's there's so many parts to that question. Uh, I my initial reaction is to laugh because for all my preparation, right? And I say it's really hard to separate myself from Nadia in the process.
okay.
Um, but so much of it was doing all the standard stuff, right? Like, and I know this is not what you mean when you ask this question, but it was like the standard, the baby gates, reading the what to expect when you're expecting, all that normal stuff, right? Um, so yeah, that kind of standard preparation.
Right.
But beyond that, it was a lot of maybe just dreaming and hoping and wondering, like, who's this kid? What who's he gonna well at the time we didn't know until the first sonogram. I forget when that happened. We knew she was a girl. It's like,
Okay.
who's she gonna be? Who's she gonna look like? Um, all that stuff. So a lot of the preparation, there was very little in the way of preparation beyond the standard. Let's make sure that we're well stocked on all the baby
Right.
needs.
Right. Like
But
room and crib and all that stuff, you mean?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But there wasn't a lot of, hey, asking my parents what was it like, because they would give me the, man, you were born like 30 something years ago. At that point I was 32. I think it was
Okay.
32 when Diana was born. So much time at a time. They didn't, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really ask them so much. Um, yeah, surprisingly, very little preparation beyond the standard buying stuff and hoping that we're ready.
Okay. All right. um Same here. As far as the preparations part, uh it was just making sure that you have the supplies, and space, of course,
Space.
was something that you wanted to have separate for, just the baby itself. Like you're bringing this third person into your relationship, and you want to make sure that they have their corner too. So that was one of the things. um the second part of this, that three-part question, did your expectations match reality?
No,
um yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no.
So that's what that's what I I felt a trap too, right?
Mhm.
Because here you are, painting the room, putting up the lettering for the babies, and the little wall graphics, and the crib, making sure it doesn't have things around it so the baby can sleep, and all this stuff. And there's so much things that we did, just to prepare for this baby. And when the baby comes, the baby was not in the crib as much, right?
Mhm.
and and the wall art that's on the baby's wall, like, can the baby read that? Like, he doesn't know what that is,
Mm.
right? And it was so much things that I felt like it could have been avoided, right? I didn't have to. We didn't have to prepare that if we're not going to use it, right? I remember there was this um diaper no, it's not a dispenser, it's a diaper, like you throw the
Like a
dirty
type of genie.
diaper. Yeah, you throw the diaper in it. Never used it. It sat
Really?
there, never used it, bro. Never
So
used it.
what
I
what'd you do
changed
with the diapers?
I changed the diapers and I put it in the trash, or in the trash. Like,
You didn't smell that?
after you change the diaper and put it in the trash, you take the trash bag out. That's all.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So
That makes sense.
I didn't keep the trash bag in the house or anything like that. But it was just that simple. Like, that didn't need to be there. So yeah, expectations never matched the reality, and with any one of my kids, right? Because my mind was so focused on this got to be done, that got to be done, and it has to be like this. And when it came down to the crunch time, none of it mattered. None of it mattered. Your presence and your ability to think is what matters more so than you having some type of device, or you having a special room for them, or you having a calming station. And mind you, I know on um different aspects of life, like children born with disabilities, and so on and so forth. These might be areas where you need to set something up like that, but it failed on my part. It failed me very, 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 very badly, because half of the things that I did, it didn't really matter. You know, at the end of the day, I remember coming home exhausted. I think I still have a picture of it. Coming home exhausted, and I laid on the ottoman at the time in the living room, and I remember Mason just finished eating, and he was falling asleep, and he fell asleep on me, and I'm on the ottoman. And that's that. He didn't need a special blanket, or he didn't need a special crib. He didn't need none of that stuff. He just needed to feel the warmth of his father, or warmth of his skin, and he zoned out just like I zoned out. But yeah, that expectation is really, really overrated.
The,
Definitely
the
overrated.
the easiest thing to do is to over prepare.
Right.
You as the parent, soon to be parent, is super easy to go overboard, and then everyone around you doesn't necessarily, the other parents in your life, not your generation, but the generation before, may not remember because so much time has passed.
Right. That
And
is
there's
true.
only right, and not to mention the fact that plenty of time, typically, we talk about usually 10 years or so, has changed between the last time they had children. So the standards have changed.
All right.
I know
Right.
by the time Dee Dee was born, the common what was a common advice given to parents is no co-sleeping.
Ah, they can't
Right,
be in the same crib as you, right? Or the same bed as you. Is that what it
right,
is? Okay.
right. So I was like, okay, well, we'll do that. We'll have the crib or the side. I forget the name of the thing. Uh, that's meant to facilitate that if you still want the child in your bed with you. Um, and we
Or
set out.
they had an attachment?
They're the it's like imagine a crib, but it's really like it's a bassinet, and it either
Okay.
connects to the side of the bed or you put it in between the parents, right?
Huh.
And we intended on using this thing, and it didn't happen because Diana was like, no, I don't want to sleep in this thing. I want to be near you.
Yes.
So again,
Yeah.
typically you're not supposed to do the co-sleeping, but we
Right.
absolutely did.
Right.
Um, and you just kind of have to go with what makes the most sense, as long as you're not putting your child in unnecessary
Risk.
danger.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. With that, right? The the professional advice was no co-sleeping, or no, don't put them in the same bed as you. Things can happen, right? Right. Now, we definitely ignored that, because if it's a matter of convenience or not, Mason slept in bed with us many times, many nights. My thing to you is, did that create another issue or problem along the way that you now put a light bulb in your head, like, oh, maybe that's the reason why they were saying don't do that?
Um, just say sure. No, I can't. No, because unfortunately, if I would answer yes to that question, one of my children wouldn't be here anymore. You know what I mean? Like the
Hmm.
point of that is you want to reduce like SIDS, or
Right.
we want to not roll over on your child in your sleep or
Right.
such,
So
right?
that
So
was the reasoning behind that type of
right.
professional advice. Right. Okay. Not dependency, and they'll never leave your house, and the psychological effect and all this
Oh,
nonsense that they go on with, you know.
well, that's interesting point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that that's one of the side effects, right? But
Is it proven? She's
I would.
13, he's 13, and he doesn't have any attachments right now.
Well, did he sleep in your bed until he was 10 years old?
No.
Yeah, if at some point you have to, I think there's something to be said about at some point you have to kind of sever. That's a strong word,
Right.
right? To sever that, but like you are X years old, you can't be in this bed anymore. So
Right.
Diana was out of the bed by 3,
Okay.
probably before then. She was in her room. I mean, the kids always had their own rooms,
Right.
and she'd go straight to her room. Aiden hung around a little longer than he should have.
Okay.
But oh, what would I say? Maybe 6, probably. That's a long time. And now he's sleeping on his own and he has no problem. He doesn't sneak into the bed anymore. I think that there is something to be said that if you don't kick the child out, you'll create an attachment that you can't undo. And that's a
Mm,
problem. You want your child to be independent. You want them to be able to leave the house. Even if maybe deep down you don't want them to, you still
right.
have to prepare them to do so.
But do you feel like there's any facts to that? Do you feel like, yes, there will be a dependency attack? But judging from like your own kids, like for me right now, I feel like I don't see that.
I can see a dependency thing. I can see Diana leaving the house as soon as she has the opportunity.
Mm.
And I can see Aiden be like, yeah, I'm not leaving. I'm gonna be
Ah,
here. When we tell him stuff like, when we tell him one day the two of us, not we're gonna move out, and like you'll just live in this house. And his first thought is, who's gonna take care of me? I'm like, oh no, we might be going down the wrong path here, you know.
oh man,
But that's such an individual thing. I can't speak generally, just specifically to children. I think that
right.
a big part of what we do, we talk to the kids like they're older than they are, instead of trying to, you know, sugarcoat and coddle them and that sort of thing. Just be real about the reality. Tell them things like, we're not always going to be here.
And when you say we, are you talking about males, or are you talking about you and Nadia together?
I'm talking about us as a relationship. I can't speak for parents or fathers in general. I think
Right.
fathers may be more likely to be the direct one
Right.
and be like, this is how it is.
Yeah.
But that's just speaking too generally, because everyone, like in our own relationship here, I play both. I have a lot of paternal instincts. I have a lot of
Mhm.
maternal instincts.
Okay.
And where I'm on one, the if I have a maternal instinct in one thing, then not will be the paternal one.
Gotcha.
And we swap. It depends on what it is, and that kind of behavior changes from you know couple to couple.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that, man. For that insight. That that was interesting. Um, third part,
Yeah.
and we're gonna move through these as quickly as possible, right? Yeah,
Sure.
we don't have that much left. Relationship changes. How did the relationship with your partner change? Number one, how did you balance being a dad and maintaining your own identity? And then how was your relationship with your own parents or family changed?
Let me go to that second question first.
Okay.
And this is super important, I think, because a lot of parents, a lot of dads, perhaps, may feel this way. I I very much lost my own identity, and I
Mm,
stopped being me. And sometimes it's hard to remember specifically who I am, because a, I'm a dad and a husband and a coworker. You know what I mean? Like
right.
those those things take up so much of my time that when I'm in those moments when I don't have to play any one of those roles, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, now what? Like, I have this time that I used to have in abundance,
Right.
right? Then
Right.
you become parents and you lose a bunch of it because, going back to an earlier question about the expectations, there's a very quick anecdote. The first week Diana came home, and Nadia and I were in the process of playing Borderlands on the 360, the original or the second one. And I'm sitting on a chair, and she's on my chest while I'm playing a game. I was like, this is easy. What's everybody complaining about? Babies are super easy. She's just sleeping. This lasted a week. And then she kind of, because she was born early, a few weeks early.
Hmm.
So she did a lot of sleeping. And then she became like,
Yeah.
typical baby.
Active.
And yeah, it's like, no, I don't have time for any of the things all of a sudden. But now, that began that transformation where I'm playing these roles. And now in the evening, when like I want to sit down, I'm playing a new game and I'm enjoying myself. It's only recently that I'm starting to finally find myself again. But my
Gotcha.
identity was lost for must be easily 10 years. I'm just one of those three guys. And when I'm not doing one of those things, maybe I want to go to sleep. Maybe
I
I'll
want to take
lose
a
myself on
rest.
YouTube.
I'm tired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So now it's only recent. I'm trying to not so much undo it, but just really s- not undo and not separate. But yeah, just identify who I am again and be that guy. Who's
So,
not that different from those other roles for what it's worth.
well, that's what I was going to ask you too, because the original Willie is still there, right?
Mhm,
So it's just that you're adding more and more hats. So as you take
mhm.
off the other hats, right? Like I don't have to be daddy right now. I don't have to be husband right now. So then don't you revert back to Will? But I think I understand what you're saying. You can't go back to Will because now the original Will is tired. He wants to sleep. Or the original Will. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. That
Yeah.
because that yeah
Because
yeah
what the family starts, everyone starts becoming more autonomous. It's really important when the children become autonomous. And it's such a freeing moment. Like the day that I changed my last diaper, there were 7 years of nonstop diapers between the two
mm,
kids, right? And it was like Atlas. Well, does Atlas ever take the world off his shoulders? I don't remember how his story ends. How I finally take the weight off. It's like one less thing to do. And yes, it was freeing and it was a literal weight. And now, like right now, you and I are talking, and the family's downstairs. The kids are playing a game together.
mhm,
I'm sure Nadia's probably going through her mail through the week, kind of thing. Like they don't need me right now. They will need me in a few when I start cooking and I start calling
right
everyone together,
right
kind of thing. And we start becoming our own. This is the beginning at their ages. This is the beginning of the family starting to not grow apart but go apart. Because before I
ah
know it, right, Didi's 13 right now. Before I know, I'm gonna blink, and this child is gonna be 17, 18, and she's gonna be choosing her school. She's gonna be walking out that
right
door,
right
and that's gonna be a really like I get upset about it now, and I start looking at it as I only have 5 Christmases left.
right.
I only have stuff like that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's an
Yep.
insane way to look at things
Yep.
because, but that's the whole point of this. We're setting up these kids to go out into the world and make the world better. I mean, that's what I want for my kids. They The world is better for them being here, and then they're gonna go out there and they're gonna make it better
Right.
somehow. I don't know what that means. I don't know, but that's who they're gonna be.
Right.
Um, and I don't know where I'm going with that. Uh,
No, no, no. You're spot on about that. As far as them just, I guess, getting into this, you know, auto, movement of. And you're right, mom. That's what's happening with my kids right now. They're upstairs doing. Rochelle is in a class because she has paperwork. Final papers that she has to process out. Mason's upstairs in this game, and this is how I have this little time to say let's just do this real quick. But yeah, in the next 30 minutes or so, it's back. You got to jump right back in, and that identity of yourself is, oh, you were able to touch on Mike for an hour. Now get your ass back to work.
Yep.
That
Yep. Yep.
that's exactly how it is. It's uh, I mean, at some point or another, I feel like we should dive into these questions a little bit more deeper, and this is one of them that I would dive into because
The
that's spot on.
the your first one talk about diving in. How's your relationship with your partner? Like that is either an episode by itself or that's a private therapy session. I don't know
Oh
which way
man,
that goes.
oh man,
Right?
you're
There's
you're
lots of
you're right. You're right about that. You're right about that. And
it's
but I feel like that particular question is just geared for that particular timeline, right?
mhm,
From, oh, we're pregnant, or oh, we're gonna have a baby, to that moment when you actually became the father. So 9 months, over the course of 9 months,
yeah.
did your relationship with your partner change?
Um yes, I would say dramatically for the better.
Right.
Yes, I would say
I
one
concur.
of it's important to mention, I think, that both of the kids are IVF babies. So
Okay.
there's a lot of doctor's appointments, there's lots of needles. And Nadia at the time was like deathly afraid of needles. Right. So there was this
Wonder
like
Woman.
yeah,
Wonder Woman is the first. Okay.
it wasn't her thing. Now it's not a problem. But then when they hand over a bag of literally 40 self-injecting needles that has to be put in, and it was a lot. It grew us together going through this because we had
Right.
tried the natural way for some time, and for reasons it was never taken. So
Right.
that 9 month period was a bonding that we didn't know was there because before
Right.
it was just the two of us. It was the two of us for like 10 years. And then we're
Right.
like, we are choosing to do this. And we're choosing to be three of us. Although we went into it hoping because the IVF procedure tends to implant multiple fertilized eggs,
Okay.
embryos. I forget the correct term for it. So the chances of having two, three at a time is much higher,
Oh wow. Okay, so
right?
like twins could come out or something like that.
Yeah, there's a very high rate of multiple births because you put in more than one time because you spent all this time and money to get to this point. You better get your money's worth.
Right.
And both times, only two went in, and both times only one came out.
Oh wow. Okay.
It is, it's great. So it created a tremendous bond between. So yes, it was overall. But I should state it was shortly after Dee Dee's birth, and we're going. He's born in October, and Thanksgiving's
Mhm.
coming around. And there's this moment, it's like seared into, and we have a picture of this, but it's seared in my memory of Nadia's preparing Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay.
Um, and she's got Diana one of those things like
Yeah, the
strapped to her,
the front pocket, right?
and she tells me, well, she's doing everything herself. And it isn't because the way I remember it, it wasn't because I decided I'm not doing Thanksgiving dinner. It wasn't that, but because she traditionally does that. But she tells me that she doesn't think I'm pulling my weight as a
Mm,
dad. Now, I'm not doing enough. And this happened a long time ago, so I don't remember specifically what I wasn't doing. What mattered is that she said that to me.
yeah.
And it was such, I'm going to call it a wake up call. I was,
Wake up
it was,
call?
yeah, it was a swirl of emotions
If a wake up
of,
call is taking a rock to a mirror, yeah, that's a wake up call.
Yeah. I mean, I was I was insulted and I was hurt, but I think those feelings came because like I think she's right. And and I never looked back. Like, nope. And it turned around and I became a different I feel like I became a different parent. I had to get over like the helicopter thing, and a lot of parents do that, and that took a while to break out of that. I was all over them all the time. I was like, no, no, I gotta let them
Let
be their
them,
own people,
right,
you know.
right.
Um, yeah. So yes,
What you talk about, what you just said about, the Thanksgiving wake up call. I think every man experiences that at some point or another, because yeah, it's apparent, and it's not to say that you're not doing right. I just feel like the expectation from the motherly side, or from yeah, that changes, right? I just carried this baby for 9 months, and I just pushed it out, and 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 this, that, and the third. And what are you doing, huh?
yeah,
So, like, and I remember I had 3 jobs at the time, and yeah, I came home to the same conversation, like,
oh
yo,
really?
like, you're not helping me clean up the house. You're not helping me with the dishes, and you're not being assertive with the kids, right? Like, if the schedule is 8 o'clock bedtime, right? And I just walked in the house at 7:30. So I just want to eat something, take a shower, do whatever menial tasks I have to around the house, and then, get to bed so I can repeat this process tomorrow. But in between that time frame, 8 o'clock was bedtime, right? And here I am brushing my teeth, coming out the shower, right? But 8 o'clock is bedtime. What I'm concerned about now is getting some clothes on and then hitting the bed if I have
Hmm.
to, right? The kids are running around. They're going mayhem. Like at some point, like, I have to now realize or read the room, so to speak, to be like, yo, listen, isn't it bedtime? And that's what I was not doing. I was there present, but every element of that moment was just aside from me, because my mind was someplace else, trying to make sure that tomorrow I can survive tomorrow. And when as you said, like, you kind of step back a little bit, be like, yo, is she right? Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And yeah, that's why I did the analogy with the mirror and the rock, because that's what happened to me. Yo, when I said she shattered everything around me, bro, I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, I'm doing my best here. Well, try again. Like, okay, all right, I get it.
So I think it says a lot about you. It says a lot about me. The ability to take something that's potentially so like attacking our status as men, and instead of going on the offensive, because that's where you want to go first,
Right,
right?
right,
And instead really take that in and be like, no, man, she's the one who's right.
right.
And step up, because I mean you're one half of this equation. Or in that case for you it was like one third with you're considering Mason being one third. Anyway, you're part of it, is what I'm trying to
Right.
say.
So it comes back to that constructive criticism type situation. Like, can you take
Yes.
constructive criticism on who you want to become and who you are? Simple as that. Like, it's one thing you having the building blocks and foundation to be something fabulous and great, and then the engineer comes by and be like, yo, listen, hold on. You see that beam right there? It doesn't really belong there, because if it does go there, you're gonna mess yourself up. And then you're like, what? Shut up. No, I'm supposed to be great, like. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, it was a time for me to be like, you have to change that perspective on who you're going to become. Like, yeah, it's one thing, I want to become that provider, and I want to give this, that, and the third, and make sure they got food on the table to eat and all that good stuff. But what is that doing to the wife? What is that doing to the kid? Like, how are they seeing me? Oh, well, I see he works all the time, number one, and then Mason's like, oh, daddy can't play with me. Like, whoa, hold on, daddy can't play with you. Like, so I'm a push that aside as far as like whatever thoughts that was going through my head, as far as like it's not the right thought for the moment, for the time. So yeah,
Mhm.
man, it's definitely a work in progress. It definitely plays on your identities, man.
For
Definitely.
sure. It does.
Um, we're about to wrap it up here. Parenting styles. Do you have a parenting style, right? Or philosophy? And how did you develop that type of parenting style?
My
Um, Second question before I'm gonna go to all of them. The second question is, how did you handle disagreements with your partner or parenting? You know what? You shouldn't talk about that.
I may have
Put
covered
that
that a
one
little bit
off.
already.
Yeah, just omit that one. And what's the most challenging part of parenting for you?
Something my brother pointed out to me a long time ago. Because he started his family before I did.
And you said you were
So
supposed to be on this call too, but yeah, we'll see.
he's on a trip.
Oh,
Yeah, he flew
nice,
out yesterday, I think.
excellent, excellent. All right,
Him and the missus, like a delayed honeymoon, maybe? I don't know.
beautiful.
He but yeah, when I met his firstborn daughter,
Hmm.
um, and what do you call it? The way I spoke to her, he was like, "Why are you talking to this child like she's grown?" And I didn't realize I was doing that, right? And it's like, "What do you mean?" And he explained it to me. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I was doing that." And that's my parenting style is not talking down to
Ah,
kids, right? It is very I try to be matter of fact and try not to like the kids know way too much about like what it costs to run a household or something like that.
okay.
This isn't it's not in the vein of giving too much information is always for preparation and explanation. Like everything I do, it's I'm on their side. I'm on team Diane, I'm on team Aiden at all times. So, that's one aspect of it. To tell them exactly what I expect of them.
Okay,
There's
so
no
your approach to them is parallel or linear, like you just want to connect with them. As you said, you don't talk down to them,
right,
but what
right.
does that look like when you say you don't talk down to them? Like, who talks down to their kids? And that's
You
and
know,
and that's the thing I want to, because I'm trying to I'm
you know
trying
what
to
it is.
figure out how that looks when you talk down to your kid.
So talk. I think I should perhaps choose a different phrasing for talking down because that gives the impression that I'm talking to them like they're beneath me or that they're stupid or anything like that. It isn't that. It's the lack of early on when they were babies, none of the baby talk,
So you don't do the
right?
ooh goo goo gaga. Okay,
Stuff like that. But I
all
don't
right.
think people meaningfully do that. But it's more of like, hey, let me tell you about the things they don't teach you in school. We have that
Mm,
conversation. But I think that's fairly normal
right.
to do that. Um that's one aspect of it. Like if there's trouble, they're gonna know. Like some parents feel the need to take the weight on life for themselves and
Right.
pretend to the children that everything is fine.
Hmm.
Like no, sometimes not. It's not always going to be fine, and that's okay. We'll work through it. We're the same team.
Man,
Um,
bro. Oh man. Oh man. So I got so many questions on this one. All right. All right. Do you think it's some type of learning experience for them to understand that not at all times everything is good, right? There are going to be bad moments sometimes, right? So and I'm not going against what you're saying because I
Mhm.
actually have the same approach, right? If something is wrong, Daddy, why did you why did you do that? Well, something is wrong. So I'll tell you something. I'm not gonna hide it from them and be
Mhm.
like, oh, everything's fine. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, it's gonna be a great day. For some reason, I feel like that's more of an injustice and more of a takeaway from what life is about than me being like, listen, the the wheel in the car is busted and I got to
Yeah.
go replace that. And it's going to cost X amount of dollars. And this is not something that we expected. You know, that short explanation, I feel, gives them a little bit more reality check to life than
Mhm.
everything's fine. And we're going to take care of it. But your approach, spot on, bro. And I go back and forth. Is this one of the questions here? The disagreements with your partner? Yeah. I go back and forth in that aspect at times on how am I supposed to give my kids this perception of me or this perception of us, you know. Um I don't I don't want my kids to say that daddy's always in control, or daddy's always have it under control. Like, no, baby girl. No, Mace, daddy doesn't always have it under control. Like
Mhm.
there's sometimes I have to go and get counsel from someplace else because I don't know exactly how to handle the situation that comes up. So don't think that I know it all, And situations in life is just like that. Like you'll have moments where you're standing on top of a hill screaming all good things, and then you'll be in the bottom of the hill the very next day in tears. So
Yeah.
you just have to basically, you know, roll with the punches, so to speak, and learn how to adapt and change and flex to certain situations that comes up. I just had this conversation with Mason
Yeah.
like a week or so ago. But that's the question as far as handling disagreements with your partner and parenting. That's one of the areas where Rochelle and I totally disagree. She doesn't believe or she doesn't want to have children involved in adult materials, right? So, in a way that they shouldn't be exposed to it because they're children, right? Their brains are not even formed up yet. So my
Mhm.
argument is like, how else do you think their brains are going to get formed to it? Like, we gotta
Yeah.
expose it to them, But
It definitely depends on the topic at hand.
mhm.
And I think I could go both ways on whether or not they need to be involved, depending on what it is the topic is. So,
Finances,
but no, no, I don't. No, see, again, I spent too much time on finance YouTube, and a lot of the people who say that they were never good with money, the people who make very poor decisions very early
hmm
on in their life,
hmm
almost universally will tell you, my parents never talked to me about money. My parents never taught me about money. You can go to an econ class in high school and they'll teach you about how generally economics work on a
right,
national level. Cool, whatever. How does that help me balance my checkbook? Not that people balance their checkbooks anymore. You get what I mean?
right,
It's important to be realistic about, like, I asked Diana the other, how much money do you think I owe on the house? For example, how much do you think? And she's like, I don't know, like $8,000. And I
wow,
laughed. Like, I wish that's an amazing number. You know, you don't have to dump all the things on. You don't have to. I think it's important to keep them in the loop in some, but you don't have to say, "Oh man, I don't know if I want to make this mortgage payment." But like, no, no, they don't need to
right,
know that,
right, right. I get that. I
right?
definitely get that. There's different levels of it, but the total ignorance of it is something that I will not tolerate.
Yes,
I
that's
will not participate in that. You will not be ignorant to what your parents are going through when it comes around to the finances of the house, right?
yeah.
So they get they get monies, right? So
Mhm.
at birthday time, they'll get $5, $10 from their uncles and aunts or whatever, and they put this money away because this is how they're geared now to save, because we're not gonna go spend it right now on Toka Boca or Minecraft or whatever the case may be. We're just gonna save our money, and then we're gonna, if there's anything that we need, we'll come back to it, and and we'll be able to use it for that given reason. So I believe it was Mason's birthday a couple years ago that he got like about $150 saved up,
Okay.
right? $150 saved up. And I remember I didn't have any gas in the car. So I tapped in to Mason $150. And when he came back and says, "Daddy, I want to go buy a pair of basketball sneakers so I could play basketball," I said, "I don't have it." He said, "But no, you should. Don't worry about you not having it. I got it. I got 150." I said, "No, you don't." That
Uh,
money went to me buying gas like a month or so ago, and I never replaced it. And he looks at me and he's like, "Why didn't you replace it?" And then I had to break it down to him, because things cost money. Like, you jump in the car every single time to go to school and go to your friend's house and go to events and all this, that, and the third. The car runs on gas, which we need to pay money for. The car itself costs money. What do you mean the car costs money? Yes, the car costs money. Like, we're paying a bill to the car until it's fully paid off. And even when it's fully paid off, we still got to pay gas and insurance on it. Insurance. And these are the things, like, I don't want him or them to be ignorant to the fact of what life is all about.
yeah,
And
for sure.
they and yeah, I'm not going to get into details with them, like, oh, we pay $400 for the car, and this is what has to be paid on the 13th of every month. And I'm not going to get into that detail like that. You are going to know that things do cost money, and when you see Daddy walks away and shaking his head, you already know, maybe that's a financial problem that just came up and popped up, and Daddy doesn't like it. Yeah, Daddy's not going to smile and be cheering for every bad moment of his life. You're going to
Okay.
see that on my sleeve or see that on my face, be like, okay, maybe he's not happy about that. And that goes a long way.
It does.
That goes a long way. Oh man, thank you for sharing with that. Self-care, wrapping it up. You got one more question after this. How do you prioritize self-care? How did you prioritize self-care as a new dad? What's the most important thing you learned about asking for help, if you did ask for help? And how do you build a support network, or how did you build a support network as a new dad?
Let's see. I did not prioritize self-care.
Mhm.
Asking for help was the closest I would ever do, was talk to another dad, and that I might ask the question, how do I deal with this? Every once in a while, but it wasn't something I felt comfortable generally asking.
Mhm.
And I did not build a support network. So here, this is where I didn't, these aren't things I learned until much later, to do better about taking care of myself. And it
Right.
really feeds into the whole, I'm playing these multiple roles, and that's what mattered. And I felt, you know, I wasn't, I wasn't a priority. And
You
yeah.
you yourself wasn't the priority.
Mm-mm.
So self-care basically just okay.
Yeah. Like I had to sleep, I had to eat. Sure. I mean,
Yeah,
everybody knows
just to
that.
maintain, right? Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
felt like, no, I got this. I was very like, no, I can do this. But um my honestly, my support network was Nadia. But in that, one thing we did right, I feel, is we've been pretty good about communicating
Okay.
with each other, I think.
Right.
And being able to talk to each other through it is like, again, I get stuck on the whole we're on the same team kind of thing. Um, yeah.
Okay. All right. Self-care, yeah, and you probably hit it right on the head. It was non-existent to me when I became a father the very first time around. I says, everything was just geared towards the child, and I really didn't pay that much attention to myself, like, you know, and you would run yourself into a hole, working back to back, making sure that you meet every single event and category. So yeah, that definitely, um it wasn't important to me. Asking for help, I asked for help a lot.
Oh,
Like,
good. Okay.
I I asked for help from Carlos. I asked for help from Merv, because these guys have already been down this road before, So there were certain things that I felt like they could have shared on, and definitely put some input in. So yeah, I didn't hesitate at that at all. Like, I even asked my own parents and my own dad, like, yo, dad, like, what do I do in this situation? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, my and that I felt was somewhat of a support, right?
Hmm.
Because I do have access to it. I can always pick up the phone and call them, and and ask for help, and to ask them what they think about this, that, and the third. But would I say I built the support network? No, I wouldn't say I built this. It was
Yeah.
there, but it wouldn't be the first thing that I thought of when issue popped up. I wouldn't be like, oh, let me call a support line. Like, no, no. I really didn't think much of it. And I think that's all of us, right? We
Yeah.
just don't place that type of structure or communication in place, knowing that this is like a life altering change and role. We still don't. Yeah.
I think it's very easy to imagine, like imagine if this were a conversation amongst women, that they would likely, new moms very likely would build a support network. It's not like they build it when the baby comes. It already
No.
exists.
Yeah. Like
Right.
Rochelle, she had like the 9 months before, she was already in, like, everybody's baby is going to be born in
Hmm.
September. So she already was in this queue of about 50 moms, and they all have this insight and this support. And I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
where is it? Where is this for the dudes?
And I think I know exactly why it doesn't exist. Like where it's not there. Because, and I'm gonna say that what I believe is that because they're actually going through all the changes in their body to care for the baby. Like for us, in a lot of ways, that fatherhood doesn't really start until the baby is out. Obviously, you care about your baby coming up. You put your hand on your stomach and you feel them kicking, like that's cool. But then you take your hand away and like nothing has changed. But for them, that kid's hair is causing them to vomit every morning. They built that network the entire time with other people who can possibly understand where they're coming from. So that day comes, they're in, everybody's in, they are invested. And then for us, we're like, no, this is real. This is real because I can see the child with my eyes now.
Well, so you're trying to tell me that you didn't go through any changes per se during the pregnancy, during the 9 months,
No, I'm saying that I did, but the reality of it, I thought the reality set in.
when the
The
baby came.
reality, it didn't true. Let me tell you, the moments in the entire 9 months was we heard that Nadia was pregnant, and Nadia and I were practically catatonic when we got that news.
Mhm.
Standing there, like the nurse told us, and we were frozen, like we didn't know how to respond. And she was like, "This is usually where you cheer, or that's good news, kind of thing, right?" So there's that,
That's
and
awesome,
there's the
though.
right. Then it's the time we saw the sonogram and we saw her for the first time. I apologize. Uh, then there was the implant. There was that. Then a sonogram. Then it was, hey, do you want to know what your baby is? And when
Mm.
the nurse said, she's a girl. oh my, it's waterworks immediately. It was like, "Hi, Diana." We knew her name. Like we knew there. Diana and Aiden were the only names we had
Right.
for them.
Gotcha.
Right. There's that, and then there was feeling the baby,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was standing up during the procedure,
Ah,
which I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited till she was out. That was a mistake. I felt faint. It was
really?
it was because it was what's it
The
called?
umbilical?
It was a C-section.
Okay, okay. Yes, yeah.
So there was it was blood and stuff, and I saw too
Mm-hmm.
much, and I fell back in my chair. It was great. I had a nurse dedicated to me. The nurse, her job was to take care of me. And she was like, "Okay, go ahead, stand up." And I stood up, and she was like, "No, sit down." She
Oh
she
my
gave me
gosh.
she gave me the thumbs up too early, and I stood up like, "Oh my god!" It was a moment. But what I'm trying to say is that I read off what like 5 different milestones, and there was time between each one, and that's true for probably any dad, some version of that. But for the
Right,
mom, it's the entire time. Everything is a milestone, and it's just so the idea of the men having a support network just maybe just never occurs to us, or it's just not normal, or it's not standard, it's just not expected, a whole bunch of words. And in the end, like, oh, now I'm a dad now all of a sudden. It's like now I got to go find somebody who's going through this, and then maybe we can lean on each other. Or more likely, you don't do it, and then you just shut up and you kind of do your job, and then you don't take care of yourself.
right, right. And we have this type of like machismo type attitude towards things. Oh, I don't need that. I don't, I'm good.
Yep.
I'm not, whatever the case may be. But no, man, I really do feel like as much as they have the support for the mothers to be, they should have a support system for fathers to be too. And it's something that I feel like we should put in place or just start because during the course of this is an everyday thing. This we have babies being born every day. So I feel like at some point or another, um maybe it's out there, but we just don't subscribe to it. But
Yeah.
it should be something that's talked about.
No one is standing in the way of doing that. It's we would be doing it to ourselves.
Right,
Like you said, she's like, I don't need that. What are you talking about?
right,
I don't need that. I mean, I'm sure I would have said some version of that back then. Today, one of the earlier questions we didn't touch on is what would past me tell future me. It's like ask for help, man. Ask for it. You need
right,
it. You don't think you do, you do.
right.
And just find it. And it's around. They're like you spoke to Merv, I spoke to Carlos because our brothers were dads before we were.
Yeah,
They were right there. And I know I didn't utilize.
those
I
horny
didn't.
little buggers. Yeah, you're right.
And
Oh man. Our final question for the night is what's the best advice you received as a new dad? What's one thing that you're still figuring out about being a dad? And what do you wish you could tell your pre-dad self? I think you just touched on that
yep,
too, but
I did.
yeah,
As a new dad, I could have sworn. So I'm probably get some sleep was the best
get some
advice.
sleep.
Yeah, you need it. You need it. Go to hell sleep. Don't try and stay up. Don't do that revenge. There's a Japanese word for you're getting revenge on the day. Man, I don't remember it. It's a concept that 11 o'clock rolls around. Let's say you should be in bed. You're like, no, I didn't get to do this, that, or the other.
All
So I'm gonna
right.
get on my phone. This is a really good time to stay on TikTok for an hour when I should be asleep. And there's a word to describe this behavior that a lot of people do.
Hmm.
And I'm actively working myself out of it. But instead, as a new parent, as a new dad, just go to sleep, man. Or maybe sleep when the baby sleeps. That's probably a better way to put it.
Sleep when the
Right.
baby sleep. Well, that's the only time I get to do what I have to do though. But
See,
that's a different story.
that is what I'm talking about.
That's a different story. I'm gonna tackle what's the one thing you still figuring out about being a dad. Everything.
Well,
Like everything. Like there's this, as you said, there's certain milestone that comes around. So you get the acclamation on an annual basis. You know, birthdays are coming around, seasons are changing, and stuff like that. Um, the one thing that I'm trying to figure out about being a dad is keeping that consistency, that giving them that normality. You know, that if dad responded this way this time, is that the expectation for the next time?
Mhm.
You know, so and that's what you're putting out there towards your kids too, that perception, that structure, that, you know, normality, so to speak. That's what I'm struggling with on my end, because anything could just push me off a degree, you know, like I'm an asteroid floating through space, but anything can just push me off a degree. So, you know, last week Mason dropped something, and today he dropped something again, and last week dad responded by helping me clean it up. Today dad told me to go clean that crap up myself. Like, so like,
Yeah.
what what just happened? So yeah, the I'm still trying to figure out the way you give off this image and this perception to your kids, and not even so more the kids, but everyone around you. Like, it doesn't really like travel outside of the circle. Like, it's the relationship between me, my kids, and then me and my wife, right? It doesn't really travel outside of that,
Right.
because everybody else outside, like, oh my God, this guy's a great dad, blah, blah, blah. But inside the circle, I'm like, I'm the one that's like, oh yeah, did I do the right thing? Did I respond the right way? Did I say the right thing? Was I encouraging enough? You know, and that at times can just get frustrating, where I feel like your response to whatever is not what determines what's embedded in their life or embedded in their heads moving forward. So it's a lot of that responsibility that's placed on your back, just trying to make sure that, yeah, are you being a good dad? Are you being a mean dad? Are you being a upset dad? Like, no, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to be a dad, you know. So that's where I am, and that's what I'm struggling with. But yeah, this well, as been great. It's only the two of us, unfortunately, but I see that we have room to grow. All right,
Mhm.
and I feel like a lot of these, they're gonna learn from this first one, and then, you know, hopefully the second one we have more people join in on it. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is evident of what I was saying before about me standing at your side and you standing at my side. This is evident that, you know, we we're there. We're there. But next month I'm going to prepare that panel and list, and we'll see when we can start talking about, or we'll set up a date and time for the daddy boot camp, where based upon you becoming a new dad, there were some survival techniques that you had to set in place, and we're going to talk more about that on our next podcast. But I've held you up for an hour and 30 minutes, so thank you so much for joining us here. Um, Freeman Family Values is always trying to bring some new materials, and give some new insights as to way us as fathers navigate this world of fatherhood moving forward. But thank you so much, Will. If there's anything that you want to say towards our audience, go right ahead. And if not, we'll see him next
Uh,
time.
if you do that, get some sleep.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
definitely. If you're a new dad, get some sleep. But thank you so much, guys. And I will definitely clock out here right now. And hope to see you next time, next month. You guys take it easy.
Let it be as it is. Remember me. All we got are memories in the end. I wanna be humble, be a good friend.